What's going on, everybody? How are you? It is 2020 officially. I am filming this. This is the very first video of the year and I feel great about 2020. I don't know about you guys, but you know, it always feels different going into a new year, but I guess because this is a new decade, I'm feeling extra. I'm feeling extra. Yeah, so let's get into today's video. First, if you're not subscribed, I would love if you would subscribe. That would be fantastic. My name is Monica, and on this channel, we talk about self-development, spirituality, manifestation, law of attraction, inner work, whatever is sort of floating into my mind that I feel would be great to share with you in order to expand and grow and love and make the best life for you. So that is what this channel is about. So if you like that, hit the subscribe button because it's cool, and the notification bell will tell you when I post next. Help out the small YouTube channels, why don't ya? That'd be awesome. Okay, cool. So let's get into today's video. Okay, so today we are going to talk about mirror work. So I came across inner work sometime last year, and it was when I was doing some research on some shadow work, and shadow work has really connected with me over the last couple of years because it was sort of an eye-opening concept to me during my spiritual journey, and it's really helped me a lot. And one of the items or one of the tools that I came across was this mirror work. And what mirror work is it's basically simply looking in the mirror and seeing what comes up. So mirror work can be strangely confronting, undeniably uncomfortable, but is very, very profoundly healing. And at first, when you start implementing mirror work, or if you try mirror work, it might feel uncomfortable, it might feel great. And here's why mirror work is so unique. So all of our inner work practices that have been available to us in the last century, mirror work is definitely one of the most simplest and the most powerful. And no, you don't have to splurge a ton of money on it, because if you have a mirror, you are able to do this all on your own without spending money and breaking the bank or even leaving your house. And that's all you need for mirror work. So what is mirror work anyways? Sure, it sounds simple. You look in the mirror, that's it, that's all. But the mirror work concept was initially developed by, well, at least she coined the term anyway, was developed or coined the term, yeah, by Louise Hay, who is an inspirational speaker and teacher. And she wanted to find a way that we could get in touch with our inner self that was simple yet effective. And the primary purpose for mirror work is basically to develop a more meaningful relationship with ourselves. So improving on that self-care and that self-love so that we can also expand that to the people in our lives, to, you know, our loved ones, our family, our friends, people we interact with on a daily basis, to expand that self-care, that self-love to a outer love and outer care for the general population, or for those people that we interact with every day. And looking in the mirror can bring you into a state of focus and quiet. And what happens is there's no outside influences except you and your gaze. That's it. Now, if you have trouble meditating, closing your eyes and, you know, doing a self-guided meditation, this mirror work can actually help you if you're looking to go through that journey, that process of healing, forgiving, and just building a more compassionate relationship with yourself. So my challenge for you is, you know, pause the video, or maybe, you know, after the video, go and do that. Go and stand in front of the mirror for at least 2 minutes, and like even set a timer if you got to, and see what happens. See what words, what phrases, what feelings start to surface themselves when you're looking at the mirror for just 2 minutes, and write it down. And then see if you can do it the next day or a couple days later if you need a breather. And when you write it down, you know, maybe think about what it is that came up and why. And you don't need an answer right away, just have a moment of reflection. And it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. You might look in the mirror today and be like, I like that guy, I like that girl, she alright. And then that is amazing. You need to write that down. That way you can always refer to that day. And when you're having a little bit of a moment or having a little bit of a day where you're not feeling, so fresh, go back to that day and say, you know what, this day is possible. I am able to feel great about myself. I am able to love myself. This was a day where I felt great. What was I doing that day? What was that day like for me? So we sort of already touched on it, but the mirror basically reflects back to us the feelings that we have about ourselves. And it makes you immediately aware of where you're resisting and where you're open and flowing, okay? So it clearly shows your thoughts and your feelings at that moment, in that moment of time, that day. In other words, in front of the mirror, there is no hiding. In front of the mirror, we can catch an intimate glimpse into our soul, into ourselves. And this is why mirror work can often feel uneasy, because it exposes our inner critic in plain sight. And suddenly we feel about ourselves all the things that we weren't even necessarily aware that we feel about ourselves. So new things can start to surface and come up, and that's okay. That's exactly what you want to happen. So mirror work is a great way to reconnect with yourself and, sort of bringing that yin and yang energy together and finding a balance so that you can start to begin a life of flow and alignment and love and care and all those wonderful things. And listen, it's okay to have up and down days. Obviously this is not really the point of that. The point is to strengthen your relationship with yourself so that you can change the perspective on not only yourself, but your life in general. I'm sure you've heard the term that the eyes are the window to the soul, and this is another reason why mirror work can give us a direct access to our soul just by very simply looking in the mirror, because we're literally looking into our own eyes. So it's forcing us, I don't like using the word forcing, it's giving us an access point to tap into our soul a little bit better, a little bit deeper, a little bit easier. So where I mentioned before that meditation can be difficult for some people when it's self-guided, and that's okay, mirror work can give you that access into connecting with your soul. And it's almost, I shouldn't say almost, it basically is open-eyed meditation. And how do you basically know that you're reconnecting with your soul when you're doing mirror work? Really, the simplest answer is I can't answer that. I know that's not what you want to hear, but for me, for example, when I am doing mirror work, I can start to feel my soul emerge. Sometimes when when those negative things start to go away in my own mind, like when those negative thoughts and that inner critic starts to quiet down, and I start to see and feel more of a sense of warmth and love and feeling and acceptance start to emerge and transition into that sort of aspect. So for me, it's that transition of inner critic to feelings of warmth, love, and compassion. And yeah, sometimes, I'll even smile to myself in the mirror, because smiling is great and smiling's my favorite. And a smile can quite literally change how you feel inside and changes, your vibration energetically, and how even your brain starts to fire. And wow, this girl is smiling, so, let's send in some, endorphins and feel good hormones into and through her body. Okay, so let's get into the practicality of using mirror work. How can you do mirror work? Like a step-by-step. And as simple as it sounds, there are some tricks that you can do to help improve your experience of mirror work. So the first thing you want to do is use affirmations that feel authentic to you. Don't just make something up because you think it sounds great, or you know, your best friend says it all the time. Do something that feels good to you. And then the next thing I would say is try to dedicate at least 2 to 5 minutes of mirror work. Now, it could be every day, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever fits, but at least 2 to 5 minutes. And do it privately and undisturbed. I know this might seem obvious, but try and have a couple moments to yourself at the very least. You know, give yourself that nurturing, that self-care of having these 5 minutes to yourself. Let your guard down 100%, which we kind of touched about that. It's okay, remember, it's okay to feel emotional, and just let yourself feel whatever starts to come up. Just let it happen. Do not judge it. Just think of it as a transformational purge. And I would definitely recommend journaling your experience. So like I mentioned before, so that you have something to look back on and see whatever progress you've made, or maybe there's, you know, an aha moment that you'll discover when you look back at your journaling experience through your mirror work. So you want to commit to yourself, absolutely. Mirror work can create the deepest changes. And you want to think about what the best time of day would be for you to do this mirror work. Mirror work, obviously it's flexible because you can do it anywhere, anytime, as long as you have a mirror. And, you know, maybe sometimes doing mirror work early in the morning, if you're not down with that, you can do at night and maybe before you take a bath. I love that, before you take a bath or a shower, and I go into the bath or the shower with the intention of washing whatever doesn't serve me away. So just adding that extra intention to clear and cleanse. And then choosing or creating your affirmations. So we use affirmations to counteract the negative self-talk that we're experiencing. And you might want to create one spontaneously while you're doing your mirror work, while you're looking in the mirror. And that's cool too. Hey, you know, if you're not feeling the prettiest that day, you know, you might want to say, you know, I have a beautiful heart and soul. If you're feeling uncomfortable just doing the exercise, if you're already stepping into it and you're feeling uneasy, that could be an affirmation, and just saying it's okay to feel uncomfortable and I accept myself as I am. Beautiful way to start as well. And there's lots of affirmations. I always recommend to start with words like I am or it's okay, because these start to set the tone of positive and affirmative actions or affirmative statements. And I am is a super powerful statement to begin with, because it is basically acknowledging you in the presence of yourself and of the universal energy. So you can say things like, I love how unique my body is, I am whole, I am a being of light, I am worthy of love, I am learning to love you. That's a great one. I am learning to love myself. I believe in myself. I am worthy of abundance. I am worthy of unlimited abundance. It's okay for me to feel awkward. It's okay for me to feel sad. A bunch of them. I can even leave some of these in the description box below if you need some prompts and some assistance with that. That's cool. I'm more than happy to help. And just a note on affirmations, they're not, you know, don't look at affirmations as a way to sugarcoat how you feel. Affirmations are a way of changing the perspective of how you feel. For example, like some of those affirmations that I mentioned before, you know, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. Just even acknowledging that is an affirmation, and being okay with being uncomfortable, and understanding that when you say things that way, when you're okay and improving the acceptance of that statement or that feeling, then it helps open you up and release a little bit more so that you can invite the good things in. And one more thing about affirmations, it is so very important to repeat them and repeat them often. So I am a big fan of writing affirmations down on a post-it note and sticking them on the mirror so that they're there when I wake up and I see myself for the first time in the mirror in the morning or wherever. And every time I, you know, whatever, wherever the mirror is, it's in my bathroom. So whenever I go into the bathroom, that is where I see my affirmations, my positive statements. So mirror work is definitely deceptively simple, but that tremendously empowering. So, you know, much healing work can be done by simply looking at yourself in the mirror and expressing some self-loving affirmations. Now, one of the most amazing benefits of doing mirror work is how it impacts your relationships. And by learning how to love yourself more, life becomes more harmonious, more in flow, and more in tune of where we're supposed to be in life anyways, and that is at the very least living in love, living from the heart. So try it out, let me know, and I hope you are having a wonderful, beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in and staying all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, and much love to you all. Happy New Year.